Okay, this is how to save your first $10,000. What gives me credibility to do it? Well, I have a degree, but I don't really have any professional accolades or whatever. But I am 25 and I got about $275,000, depending on how the market's looking. Um, and then also I just want to help people. So none of this is like financial advice. I'm not going into the stock market. I don't think in this one. Um, but yeah, hopefully I can help somebody along the way who's in the same situation I am. And then for a secondary cause, I want to go over this stuff over and over again, just to refine my thoughts and then have practice communication, which is you're gonna see needs improvement throughout this. So here we go. Cut expenses. I did something about frugality before, and that went all the way to like being homeless to living somewhere super cheap like I do right now. But long story short, cut expenses, maximize income. Like 100% Dave Ramsey. Start with that. Oh, I'm sick. I'm sorry. The core principle: save aggressively. I mean, when I did this before, to get the first 10,000, one I forgot. I think I might have been 17 or 18 maybe. I worked at a meat market and jobs and stuff since I was 12, and obviously while you're at home, usually you don't have many expenses, so that was a great head start for me. But then after that, I still wasn't happy with it. So then I chose to be homeless for a little bit and save money that way. So be aggressive as how you think, how good it is for you. Just be smart and safe while you do it. So there are some legitimate circumstances that make it harder for some people to save more money, especially if you're already in debt and stuff. But oh, and then medical expenses, dependence and stuff. But this is all by and large information. Cut them as much as you can. Work all the time. That's what worked for me. Maybe it'll work for you. Managing inconsistent income. So I've never really had a, well, yeah, I've never really had a very consistent income. Uh, just because I've had a lot of jobs. So, like right now, I've got two airport jobs that I work completely different hours on. Before this in school, I worked at another airport job, but then I also had another one there, and then I did valet. I mean, it's all just been all over. I don't have like a regular 9 to 5 that I go to. Interesting life, but then really hard for like doing Dave Ramsey's $1 million makeover workbook. So I always try to use my lowest month for income. Anything over, fantastic, but my lowest income is what I would budget off of. And there's a progression video about how I budgeted. Before I did every dollar, and now I basically have the same amount of income, or I have for like a couple of years, for what I spend. But now I think I might have to go back on a budget here because the spending has went a little bit higher than usual. Uh, pay big bills first. I always pay the big bills first, so I pay insurance right away, um, the phone bill, rent, all the things that you need to keep going. I don't put those off until like the last day of the month because you better not run out, otherwise that's gonna be bad. Then I buy groceries in bulk. Usually it's chicken and rice. Now I just got this big beef thing, but if you watch any of these, you're gonna see chicken and rice the whole time. Get the same thing all the time, and it's pretty easy to predict what you're gonna spend. Withdraw cash weekly. I was like pulling out a couple hundred for one miscellaneous expenses, but then also Dave Ramsey talks about you get more pain point activation, if that's how you want to phrase it, when you're giving up money rather than swiping a credit card. And then also it's a little bit harder to spend money, I think. I don't know, at least it is for me. So I usually spend or pay in cash because then you get to save the change so you can do laundry. But then also, because that's also like a really tiny savings account. So I like paying in cash a lot. What do you do with that first 10K? I'd like to keep it as an emergency fund. Um, and I'm not joking. So there's going to be a whole bunch of people that say, like, oh, you need leverage or you're losing money in the bank. This is what I mean. It's not financial advice. I don't really care anything material or none of that. All I want is like security for my family, myself, and then life goal. So I got 10 grand, usually minimum, in the bank account just in case something bad happens. Now it's probably a little bit high because I usually spend 12 to 14, or lately it's been about 2 grand a month. So I got to find for an emergency fund, but I like having that cushion and security so I can think more clearly about other stuff. So obviously things can pop up. That's what I like doing. I probably took it a little extreme. I had like 95,000 in cash before I actually started seriously putting money in the stock market. Um, I wouldn't recommend doing that. Maybe start investing after 10,000, but that's at least what I would do if I were to do it over again. And then fun money, yeah, I have a little bit of fun money here or there. Usually, I used to like going on one fancy date a year. Otherwise, it was literally just movies and cooking at home. Um, but yeah, budget with. Well, I'm not even gonna give any budgeting advice. Risk to avoid early on. Materialism trap. You don't need fancy clothes. You don't need fancy car. You don't need fancy apartment. It's really humbling to have uh, everything be cheap, and then also you don't have to worry about things breaking because it's really cheap to replace them or they're getting stained. So I did a whole thing basically about materialism and this whole lecture series, if you were to call it that. And another one, over socializing, going to happy hour, concert, weekend trips, they all add up. You don't need to be a hermit by saying no all the time, but you could. I did that for a long time. Otherwise, just like I said, even with the dates, just chilling at home. And something I always thought was funny was someone goes to the movies, like first date, you go to the movies, and then you sit next to somebody. One, you spend money, and then two, you don't talk to them at all. So if you're there and you're cooking at home and stuff, there's nothing to do but to talk to them, especially at my house because I don't have a TV. So you can socialize other ways. Subscriptions, these creep up on you. They're a really, really good business model because people forget about them. But I limit your subscriptions as much as you can. I've done Spotify for years now. I really like Spotify, but that's my only subscription. Pyramid schemes and scams. I wouldn't try to get rich. Not good. At least quickly. I'd avoid those. You just kind of waste time. You're not really building any skills, and then also the chance of failure is very high. Daily takeout habit. Grabbing lunch at work. Do not do this. Do not do this. This happened all the time while I was working at the meat market. People would go out. They spend $20. And I mean, at that time, I don't know if we were making $12 an hour or something around there. You just spent almost 2 hours of your day for lunch so you can be at work and work an 8 hour shift. I mean, not smart. So don't do that. Investment philosophy for beginners. So I'd say maintain a bare minimum standard. So live very lean. Keep all your expenses really low, like Dave Ramsey says. Money's your biggest wealth. Or man, I'm not thinking. My head's are really cloudy, guys. I'm sorry. It's your biggest tool though for building more wealth is money. So more you can save, the more compound interest you can get. They prioritize the big three. So don't compromise safety, sleep quality, or health. Health. I mean, if somebody would give you your dream car, I think Warren Buffett said it like this, or somebody did. If they give you your dream car and say you can't change any car, but you have your dream car, you would treat it very nicely, and you would make sure it's pristine because it's the last car you're ever gonna have. That's what your body is. So don't jeopardize your health. Your safety. You only got one life, so I wouldn't really be risking that. Sleep quality. And it affects a whole bunch of stuff. Your immune system, your testosterone, blah, 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 blah. I've definitely sacrificed all three of these. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. Maybe for a season or two, but, be smart about it or just know what you're risking at least. Cut everything else. And I just mean cut everything else. Like, if you don't have $10,000, and I mean, I know it might sound like a really big goal for some people, but if you want to have I don't want to say financial freedom. That just becomes too much. If you just want security for yourself and your family, like you need to get $10,000. Like that, at least for me, was my starting point. So let's see what this is. The goal is to save enough to gain financial freedom, the ability to take a risk, switch careers. Okay, this is what I really wanted to. So I saved a whole bunch that I could because, I mean, I could try to just make money the whole time, but that doesn't really seem like a very interesting life. So I cut all my usual daily stuff as lean as we could make it so I could have more money. So I have the ability to take risks, like creating the parking app or taking a low paid job to guild skills at a dealership. Switch careers, which is what I want to do this year, potentially next year, but hopefully this year. Or turn a side hustle into a real business, like the parking app. What I would do differently today: protect the 10,000 emergency fund. Keep it untouched, high yield savings account if you can. I mean, $10,000 if you get 1% or 3%, not really a big difference. I wouldn't really focus on that too much. Just somewhere safe that you can put it. Experiment with AI and social media. I've been hearing a lot of things about tools that you should use with AI from a whole bunch of these leading guys. A lot of them I hear from a Diary of a CEO podcast who are on there. So I'm starting to try to get that more and more into my daily routine. I build these PowerPoints through Gamma, which takes very little time. I don't really comb through these, so I'm sorry if there's some flaws, but this is not my job or anything, so I'm trying to make it as quick as possible. And I would do social media too. Now, I don't do anything with myself. As you can see from here, this is anonymous. But AI and social media marketing stuff, that's all not going away anytime soon. At least that's what I think. So that's what I would really focus on while you're younger and you're building this 10,000 emergency fund, or if you already have it. Work on side projects during breaks. Now, this could be a side hustle that you like, something you're passionate about, education, skill-based, college, anything that you think of. I used to do that I still do that at the airport jobs. All three of them, the last three of them that I've all done side projects on the side. Just, you get more experience, skills, and probably more money too if you have another side hustle. So I would do that. You're at work, might as well just make the most of it and try to just grind it out. And also, I like working 60-hour work weeks. That's my preferred. I can't always do that due to limited opportunity because sometimes airport stuff doesn't go as planned. But 60-hour work weeks, I thought that was kind of the sweet spot. Not to get burned out, but then also to make a good, substantial head start as far as your peers. Build financial freedom. Save as much as you can and then just invest it. That's at least my plan. The timeline to $10,000. Let's see how much this is. How long depends on your gap and expenses. What different savings could look like in practice. I didn't make this. Maybe I put this in the notes. So saving $500 a month gets you there in two. Or I don't know what this is. Maybe this makes sense. Maybe it doesn't. Probably not. Beyond $10,000, this is when I had $95,000, and then I started putting it in the stock market. So hitting 10,000 is a psychological breakthrough as much as a financial one. You prove that you could save, delay gratification, and think long term. Now it's time to accelerate it all. This is 100% true. Safety net security. I think you think differently when you have cash. You don't have to worry about the next paycheck to paycheck. You can start investing into skills now. You can do what Alex Ramosi says and try to increase your earning potential by investing in yourself. The SME 500, as he says it. Or you can do formal education like school, which is kind of the same thing. Or you can just put it in stock market. Then that's what I've done. Scale your income. Turn side projects into real opportunities. Working on that right with the parking app and also with the barbell buddy thing. We're giving that a shot. But I think this, at least for me, has just been getting new jobs that pay higher based off qualifications that I have and just working a bunch of hours. Next milestones you reach are $25,000, $50,000, and $100,000. They come way faster than what you would expect after you start making money and then you invest it. Of course, it'll all go back down though, because of the stock market. I think this last month, one of my portfolios went down $7,000. So that's always fun. That's why in the last couple ones I've been like, oh, 278, not 275, and it's fluctuating all the time. If you want to look at how that actually, the momentum that you get in the compound interest, like in a visual, just look at one of my monthlies. I have the last several months of my net worth and the proportion for what I had it invested in the monthly reviews, or you can look at the 2025 recap. So hopefully that helps out a little bit. Sorry, I'm a little sick, and the communication is not very good. I'm working on it. That's why we're doing it. So hopefully this helped you out. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.